first one to talk about first. I hope there isn't spinach in my teeth. So, okay. I want to talk about the first time I met my husband. And I'm not going to tell you about how he looked because I was so struck by what he said. So I was in high school in the cafeteria eating lunch with a friend of mine, and this fella I'd never seen before came up and said, oh, hi Jan, can I join you for lunch? And she said, sure. Now, my high school, there were 3 junior highs that fed into my high school, and I had gone to junior high school with my husband, but somehow, who's now my husband, but somehow I'd managed to never meet him, and I don't really know how this happened because Mark and I, we had all the same friends, but somehow we just never met that I know of. So this is really the first time that I remember meeting him. So Jan says, sure, you can join us, Mark, Gretchen, Mark. And she says, so, Mark, what's going on? And he says, well, I'm thinking about becoming a Jesus freak. Right there. That's my husband, right there. And it emerged during the, Jan laughed. She said, well, I think Gretchen can help you with that. And I was like, yeah, that's great. We can talk about that. Well, it emerged during the course of the conversation that, Mark was sharing with Jan and with me that his life wasn't really going the way he wanted it to. He's 16 and he's just, not real happy with things. And so he's decided to embark on this project. And, he tried drug, sex, and rock and roll. He tried delinquency because he had some friends who could help him with that. And he tried communism, and that hadn't panned out. And so now he was at the bottom of the barrel. There was nothing left but Jesus freak. So that was it. He was going to have to try that since communism had failed him. So, I started kind of trying to explain to him what I knew about being a Christian. And now, whenever I tell this story, Mark is there, he'll always interject at this point to remind me, because I wasn't really aware of it, that I was, at this point, wearing a gigantic cross. So, I'm sitting there in the lunchroom with a cross like this on my chest. So really, for him to sit down and start talking about Jesus was not as off the wall as it might have otherwise seemed. Just that one statement, the first thing I hear out of somebody's mouth past, nice to meet you, it just impressed me in 3 ways. It impressed me, first of all, with his incredible bravery, in that he had the courage to sit down in a high school cafeteria and actually admit that his life wasn't working. Because all the rest of us, whose life is working when you're 15 or 16, right? We're all like full of angst and it's a disaster. But, that's all right. We're good. Nah, he's like, no, my life sucks and I'm not okay with that. Secondly, who takes that attitude, who takes that teenage angst and turns it into a science experiment? Not only is my life out of control, and I'm not okay with it, but I'm now going to systematically test out all the options until I find something that will make my life work. That was my husband. And thirdly, there's Jesus talks about one of his disciples, and he says, that Nathaniel, he's an Israelite in whom there is no guile. And that was my husband, just no guile, no veneer, no appearances. A little bit later, a saying was going to start going around the computer world, WYSIWYG. Who knows what WYSIWYG means? What you see is what you get. And that is my husband more than anybody else I've ever known. It's all right there. I don't ever have to, people play games and, oh, what's the matter, honey? Nothing. No, not a thing at our house. It's just a non-event. I never have to wonder where he's coming from. I never have to wonder if he's telling me the whole truth. I never have to wonder what I'm getting for Christmas. and I love that. I really need that. And that's the first thing that I learned about the man who was going to become my husband, was that he was WYSIWYG.